911, what's your emergency?
There's this car with blood in it. I mean, the door's open.
What's the location?
Sydney Street. It's in the flats by Penn Park. Me and my friend, we just found it.
Son, what's your name?
He wants to know her name.
Your name, son. What's your name?
Rush. Jeffrey Rush. We're so fucking out of here. Good luck with the pod, man.
Mystic River is next. Welcome to In the Mood for a Movie. I'm your host, Jez, and joining me, as always, my co-host, Brad. B-Rad. Reminder, like and subscribe from wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on Instagram, In the Mood for a Movie. And if you have any thoughts or feedback, send us an email, inthemoodforamovie@gmail.com. What's up, Braddles? You put your CV in to be the Manly Seagulls coach?
I did, mate, but I haven't heard anything back. And they've given it to Kieran Foran, who probably has as much coaching experience as what I've got.
Those Kiwis taking all our jobs.
It took our jobs.
Any plans over Easter?
Yeah, heading down to Barrel, seeing Mum. I think you're going to go down there as well, so it should be good.
Yeah, see you there.
Nice long drive down to Barrel, so I've got this pod to listen to on the way down, so it should be good.
And everyone, if you think I now have the golden tonsils like John Laws, you can thank Brad. He's given me a microphone for my birthday, so thank you very much, Brad.
Early happy birthday present. The big one this year, isn't it, Jez?
We don't mention that.
Don't mention that.
Okay, everyone. So this is a movie podcast where we have discussions about films. The catch is it will be someone's first time seeing that movie. So this week, it's the first time that I've seen this movie. Today, we're doing the 2003 drama Mystic River, currently available to be streamed on Stan. Brad, he kept cutting me off! Brad, would your partner be awake if you were to roll in at 3 a.m. in the morning?
No, and I don't think that she would be as cool as what this lady was, especially when you're covered in blood. So there's zero chance. In fact, if I rocked up, I'd be the one covered in blood.
My partner would have no idea. She'd only realize when she woke up in the morning and be like, where the hell is he? Or when I was hopping into bed, she would stare and be like, how was your night? Before we get into the movie, spoiler alert, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, please go watch it, or you can listen along and then enjoy it afterwards. Brad, do you want to go through the AI plot?
Yeah, definitely. The AI plot says that Mystic River follows 3 childhood friends whose lives violently intersect again when one man's daughter is murdered, another becomes the prime suspect, and the third, now a cop, investigates, forcing all of them to confront buried trauma, suspicion, and the devastating cost of vengeance.
Nice one. So, as I mentioned, I'd never seen this movie before. I had a slight panic attack as I went to watch it last Wednesday. Walking into the movie, I just had a sudden thought. I was like, oh my God, is this, I think the movie's called like The River Rapids or The River Wild with Meryl Streep and Kevin Bacon in it. And I was like, oh shit, I think I've seen this before. Boy, was I wrong. I remember the whole time watching it as well because I think it just starts. And I watched it again the other night. It doesn't come up with like who's in it, who directed or anything. And I was thinking, geez, it's a pretty good director. Like there's some good shots here and some good camera thing. And then at the very end when it's like directed by Clint Eastwood, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I'll give you my take on it and then I guess keen to hear your thoughts. Look, I thought it was wonderfully tragic, if I could steal J.K. Rowling's sort of descriptiveness. Shows you how the trauma, stays with you through life. Life goes on, secrets are buried, I like how friendships can disappear, but you kind of still keep that bond with each other. In terms of trauma, though, I did kind of think about the 3 characters and how they dealt with it. So to me, Sean deals with trauma by going into the police force, so serving and protecting. Jimmy deals with it by going into crime. Poor old Davey deals with it becoming a high school legend at shortstop. Brad.
Nice.
Brad, what are your thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, I hadn't seen it for a while. And when I rewatched it this time for this pod, man, I got a new take on it that I hadn't had before, and I got like a bit of Romeo and Juliet vibes in terms of that House Capulet versus House Montague. You get that from Jimmy Mark, and he hates the Harrises so much, and then you got Brendan Harris secretly dating Katie Markin. So I got that vibe, but the biggest call out you've already mentioned is tragic. I had that bold, underwritten, like I've written again and again and again, and it's just so sad that like it just never works out for Dave. Like, he gets abducted as a kid, he lives a life, but not really. Like, he just seems really disconnected, and he loves his son, like, which is just so beautiful. And he does love his wife, but spoiler alert, like he gets killed. But it's just such a tragic
Spoiler.
character, tragic
Yeah.
character.
No, I like it. Kind of hit me with all the different emotions as well.
Mm,
Especially having kids. Like one of my biggest fears is abduction. And yeah, Jimmy, like, I think sort of being born again, like afterwards, as I said, became a criminal, but being born again when he meets Katie and her mother, coming out of prison, trying to get his life back on track. Davey going through all the trauma, and as you said, just trying his best for his son and his family. And then I guess like Sean, being a cop trying to serve and protect people because I'm sure he's dealing with it different ways. I loved how they showed different aspects as well of, how Davey's driving off at the beginning in the back of the cop car in inverted commas. And throughout the movie, they show it. Like there's the one scene where Sean and Jimmy are standing there and he's like, he went that way. And they kind of reflect on that's when Davey left us the first time, or for them, when he was abducted. They have the other scene when Davey gets picked up by the Savage brothers and he's in the back seat, the same type of thing. He turns around to have a
yeah,
look out the back window and just like, oh God, like this is the beginning of the end for old Davey. But just
yeah,
like so many great scenes, so many great moments in the movie. The acting was just sublime. Like I couldn't get over how much emotional like kind of impact you have with each character. We'll go
yeah,
through some of the scenes a little bit later, but I just thought it was great. And then, you know, I felt the two main guys, I'm going to call them the two main guys with Kevin sort of 1C, just throwing friggin' heaters at each other the whole movie was just
mm,
unbelievable. And then at the end, you got Laura Lindley just turning into friggin' Shakespeare or Lady Macbeth.
yeah,
Wasn't expecting that. Um, I never, though, felt during the movie that Tim Robbins was the killer, apart from that one scene when he cracks when he's talking about vampires. And I was like, oh crap, are they going to go primal fear on me here? And he's got like different personalities. But
yeah.
apart from that, I was pretty confident that he wasn't the killer. Um, Before kind of we get into it a little bit more, like, did you have any more thoughts, I guess, on characters? I guess it's another movie as well where they use the town or the city as a character.
Yeah.
Loved that they used Boston. Loved how they got like locals and all the Boston accents. I thought everyone did a pretty good job with the Boston accents as well. Something that I'll be trying my best not to try and do today. But yeah, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I guess one just more quick thought, because we were talking about it in the last pod, like a movie with like heavy hitters, and like this movie is like stacked. I mean, you got Sean Penn, Tim Robbins, Kevin Bacon, Lawrence Fishburne, Marcia Gay Hayden, and Laura Linney, and then directed by Clint Eastwood. I mean, what a cast! And we'll go into it a bit more, but I just thought it's just such a fantastic movie, and just such a well a well a well thought out cast, and like who was going to play these characters of this movie, Mystic River. I thought they did a really fantastic job.
Yeah. Make sure you don't forget Lucius. Lucius from
Lucius.
Gladiator. Yeah. The mute.
Oh,
It's Lucius from
I
Gladiator.
was trying to work out what he was from.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah,
he
you're
did
right.
Gladiator before this, so he's that
He
good that
did.
they're like, you can play a mute in the next movie, champ. So what, like watching through it, and I guess the second time when I was watching it, who do you blame for for Davy's death, ultimate death?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I've gone on it and I've thought about it quite a lot. And part of me blames Jimmy for actually killing him, and part of me blames Davy for admitting to a crime he didn't commit. And part of me blames Sean for bringing him into questioning, but that kind of seems legit. And a large part of me blames Celeste mostly. But I mean, you can't count out the traumatic experience that Davey went through. You know, the people that assaulted him when he was a boy, they're obviously 100% to blame for how he turned out. And maybe you could blame the parents for not getting help that he needed as a kid to sort of get over that. But I mean, how could you really get over that? And you got to remember that this is probably 25 years before the movie started. So maybe that kind of, you know, mental or emotional sort of help for kids that have gone through a trauma like that, you know, probably wasn't available at the time. But, you know, just to sum it all up, I think though that it's probably Celeste who freaked out and told the wrong person. It would have been better for her if she really thought Davy had killed someone. It'd be better for her to tell, you know, the cops, like to tell Sean, rather than tell you know, tell the person that his daughter got killed, you know, and that way
Yeah.
Dave could have been spared and the truth would have come out in the end. So yeah, don't go and tell the person, you know, Jimmy, who's looking for vengeance, that, hey, actually, I think I know who killed your daughter.
Yeah, oh, look, stepping on one of my airing of grievances right there. Like, why wouldn't you go to the cops before going to the local friggin' kingpin whose daughter's been killed? Like, what do you think's going to happen to your husband, love? Um, I agree with you. Well, I don't know if I do agree with. So I ultimately blame Davey, number one, just for not
Mm.
being honest with his wife, also not being honest with his friends, so to speak. I then do think that the cops have a little bit of a little bit of blame because they're sort of planting seeds, as you said, questioning him. Jimmy, yeah, but like, geez, Jimmy's just lost his daughter. Like, if he's getting all these boxes are being ticked in front of him, like, I felt he didn't want to believe it, but everyone kept sort of putting it in front of him, so he's going to have to believe it in the end. So I really did feel that like Celeste sealed Davy's fate, and in doing so, kind of her family's as well. But yeah, it's interesting. I guess it's really interesting to reflect upon, and I guess that's what I really enjoy about the movie. There's a lot of questions that are maybe unanswered or just things that, oh, geez, if only if they'd done this thing, you know, half their, you know, changed a couple of things. Um, I'll get into it now because you mentioned Romeo and Juliet. So I was thinking about other tragic movies where the person could have been saved if some information or something went the wrong way. So the movies that I came up with were Romeo and Juliet, Boy in the Striped Pajamas, The Mist, and Gallipoli. I'm sure there's a lot more, but I couldn't think of any, and I kind of tried to do some research on it. Off the top of your head, can you think of anything else that might fall into that category?
Not off the top of my head, but yeah, you brought up one that I instantly thought of as well, which was the Mist. Man, what an ending on that one there as well. I won't spoil that one for everyone, but yeah, it is a good call out that timing on this. If time had sort of gone the other way, if someone had done something a little bit quicker, like this whole thing could have been avoided.
Yeah, no, 100%. Um, I know you want to get into some nicknames, but do you want to, I guess, talk about the ending sort of shot between Sean and Jimmy?
Yeah, I had a question. Like, what do you think what Sean means when he shoots his fingers? He like finger guns him, you know, Sean at Jimmy at the parade at the end of the movie. Do you think he's coming for him, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I took it as in like you're on my radar now, like you're in my line of sight. So you've fallen back into your old ways, so to speak.
Yeah,
And I'm coming for you. I'm not going to let it slide, even though we are friends, so to speak. Um, your ass is mine. And then I took Jimmy's sort of reaction, like it wasn't me, as in like, come get me, big boy.
yeah,
It's on.
yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's hard. You're right. Like they are such good friends, and I thought if he was going to do something or investigate it properly, he might have done so after he told him who he told Jimmy who was the actual real killers of Katie, and then he knew that Jimmy had done something because I think that's when he said, you know, what are you going to do? Send Celeste $500 a month now as well. So he obviously knows that he's dirty, but I don't know if that conversation's like inadmissible at court, or if he sort of forgets that and tries to start a fresh investigation. So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and it sort of like went from that scene where they left sort of as friends, knowing that this tragedy had happened to Davey again, to maybe, you know what, I've changed my mind now that my wife's back in town and I'm going to come for you. So
Yeah. So, yeah. Did you work out who the killer was during the movie, the first time you saw it?
no, not the first time I saw it. No, yeah, I'll go into like some scenes and stuff later. But
Yeah.
I did think that it was Davey. Up until obviously that scene with Silent Ray and his best friend when Brendan confronts them, I did think it was, yeah, I did
Okay.
think it was
Silent
them.
Ray. What a name. So I actually worked it out. I don't want to swing my dick too far in 15 minutes into the pod, but I worked
Swing
it out.
away.
I'll let you know. These are the clues that gave it away for me. So the killer's always someone you know in the movie, and it didn't help that it was Lucius from Gladiator. I was like, well, this guy's kind of like been in a couple of
Guilty.
things, like, yeah. Then Katie knew the person. I picked up on the, like, when the lady's like, oh, she said hi or whatever. The Harrison's gun. And then when it was revealed that Jimmy was ratted out by the dad, I guess that it must have been the mute, because I was like, well, no, the son loves it too much. It can't be the son.
Hmm.
And as I mentioned, it also helps when there's an actor who's in a lot of movie who's doing fuck all in the movie. So I feel like they wanted you to work it out, but I wasn't so sure, because even on the Reddits that I was reading afterwards, a lot of people seemed to feel like they didn't work it out to the end of the movie. So don't want to
Hmm.
give myself a pat on the back, but I worked it out.
Yeah, I actually quite enjoy that about this movie too, and other movies that are similar to this, like that whole investigative piece where you feel like you're part of the investigation as you're watching the movie and you're trying to piece it together as well. I really love that in movies. I don't think it's done enough.
Yeah, yeah. And look, I completely understand, like, Lawrence Fishburne's character, where it's like, it's definitely Davy. Like, this
Yeah,
is all the classic signs. I was like, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
fair enough.
And
But when there
Sean's
was
too
like,
clouded by friendship, so yeah, it's
yeah,
got
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Okay, you want to talk about nicknames?
Yeah. So we mentioned it before, Silent Ray, but Ray Harris was just known as just Ray Harris, and they were like, "Why? Why is he just known as just Ray Harris?" You had Crazy Ray, you had Psycho Ray, so all the cool names were taken, so they got stuck with just Ray, which actually is kind of bit of a cool nickname. So I just wanted to know, Jez, if you have any cool nicknames, or if you know people that have some cool nicknames, or that you've ever nicknamed someone.
Okay, I have a plethora of nicknames for myself. Half of them are those self-given, so I probably won't go through any of them. I have looked up, and I've got a top 5 nicknames for, they're all famous people. I would want to shout out, though, that there's a couple that I found online. So The Body, Elle Macpherson, like, what a name.
Yes.
Big Ticket, have to let Kevin Garnett, always got to let Kevin Garnett know. Broadway Joe Namath. But before I go through my top 5, I guess, is there any nicknames you want to go over?
Um, my nickname primarily is B-Rad. I did have Fig Jam at one point, which turned to Figgy because when I was younger, I thought, you know, Fig Jam stands for fuck, I'm good, just ask me. So I had a little bit of a attitude. So people used to call me that. But there's two really good nicknames from my last workplace. One was Tippy Tappy because she had really long nails and she used to type away on the keyboard and it's like, just sounds like Tippy Tappy. But the best one I ever named someone was Goldie. So, we had this massive day at work. We were literally moving everyone from one department down a floor, but we couldn't do it all at once. You had to move a couple of people at a time, get them all set up. It was like a massive day, hey. And I was talking to my head of at the time, and I'm like, man, it's like 3 o'clock. I'm exhausted. Do you mind if I just duck off and have lunch for 5 minutes? And he goes, where's Phil? And then Phil rocks up and goes like, hey guys, just back from lunch. And then I was like, on New Issue Day, like from Wolf of Wall Street, on New Issue Day when the guy's cleaning out
Yeah.
the goldfish tank, and the guy comes and eats the goldfish in front of him. So yeah, his nickname forever after that was Goldie, and he fully embraced it. It was the funniest thing.
Perfect. That's hilarious. Okay, so these are my top 5 famous people nicknames. I'll say it's in order. White Chocolate, Jason Williams. The Boss, Bruce Springsteen. The Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. The Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher. And then this is the best one. I'd never heard of this person before. So apparently he's an English football player. His name is Fitz Hall, and his nickname is One Size. One Size Fits All.
Yes, that's so good.
So he's an English defender, apparently.
One size. Man, yeah, some good ones there. White Chocolate, that is something that as soon as I started looking into nicknames, I watched like a 3-minute all-star sort of compilation video of White Chocolate doing all these sick basketball passes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Jason Williams, he was so good.
I used to be called White Chocolate back in agency days, and then it evolved to, with all my uni mates, to Jezbrook because I just throw up bricks. so
You haven't told everyone what was your biggest nickname. What's the biggest nickname people know you as?
I will say the most funnest nickname, which gets the most laughs, is Jizz.
No, there's one more from your childhood.
What's the other one?
Nugget. The news.
Yeah, Nugget.
All your mates at school used to call you Nugget, and because everyone called you Nugget, they thought our last name was Nugget. And one of your friends came to Kay's house, our mum's house, and goes, "Hi, Mrs. Nugget, how are you?"
Yeah.
Kay was beside herself. So
I'm pretty sure they didn't think my last name was Nugget. I'm pretty sure they're just deadbeats, and they're like, I don't know his fucking last name, so I'll just call him Mrs. Nugget.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah. So based on Dennis Leon's novel, he also wrote Gone Baby Gone and Shutter Island. His work consistently examines environments that shape us and destiny, which is quite interesting. And when you think about the other 2 books that he wrote as well, that's great. They added the, at the start when the other pedo kind of looks over and he's got the religious ring. Mm-hmm. They added that ring in. That's not in the book, but I guess that was what was happening at the time in terms of what was going on in Boston and the church and everything else like that. I also saw that the studio wanted to save some money, so they wanted to film the movie in Toronto, but big Clint Eastwood stepped in and said, no way, Jose. So he said, we've got to make the film authentic. So they filmed it in Boston. And we'll get into it in a second with one take Clint, but they filmed the movie in 38 days. He's the best. The man can run a friggin' production. Any movie or production notes you want to add?
The one there that you mentioned, that last one there about Clint Eastwood, doing 1 or 2 takes. It's actually funny because I was watching a YouTube video that randomly popped up, and it was Bruce Campbell, and he was actually having a one-on-one interview with some podcaster, not as famous as us, but Bruce Campbell said that Clint is is the one director, pardon me, he'd love to work with who he hasn't. He said that Clint doesn't waste money or film. He does it in a couple of shots so producers leave him alone because he doesn't run up costs and he keeps to his budget. And Bruce Campbell kindly gave his wisdom and said that if you're an up-and-coming director or a budding director or a wannabe director, you should be doing it how Clint Eastwood does it. So, that got to make money to spend money. Got to spend money to make money is just such a myth. And you should always just keep to one or 2 takes and keep to your budgets. And that way producers just leave you alone and you can put your own creative style on the movie. So, that was a really good call out there from Bruce. But everything else you sort of mentioned there as well. Yeah, I mean, the cast reportedly stayed in character between takes because the material was just so heavy and they just wanted to stay in character. And you mentioned the author there before, Dennis Lehan. He said that the cast was so perfect that he couldn't imagine the characters any other way, which is rare for authors who see Hollywood adaptations butcher their work. They usually have a few gripes about who did their movie and how they portrayed it, but he seemed pretty happy with the end result.
Yeah, nice. I also read a lot of the actors, they did a lot of their own practice their scenes um, off camera because they knew they're only going to have a couple of takes to do it. So, which makes sense. It seems like there was a lot of prep before they actually started to roll. So, as we mentioned, directed by One Take Clint, or Mr. Clint Eastwood. So the man's been acting since 1955. So I think I've worked that out. That's 70 years, if I do my math, or over 70 years. And what, he's 96 years young and he's still releasing movies. He had Juror number two, a couple of last year. We are going to stick, I guess, in terms of Clint to his films. He directed his first film in 1971 before doing Dirty Harry the same year. He's directed up to 45 movies, I believe. He's won 2 Oscars, so Unforgiven and Million Dollar Baby. He was also nominated, for Mystic River and Letters from Iwo Jima. Brad, favorite directed Clint movies?
Spoiler alert, I haven't seen every Clint Eastwood movie, so there may be some movies coming up that have been directed by him. But of the ones that I've seen, I love Mystic River, I love Million Dollar Baby, and I love Gran Torino. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then 4 and 5, you can put them either way, but you mentioned it, Letters from Iwo Jima and Flags of Our Fathers. So that's such an innovative idea. If you haven't seen those movies, basically it's the Battle of Iwo Jima, and he has one movie, which is Flag of Our Fathers, which is the Americans' perspective, and he's got the other movie, Letters from Iwo Jima, which is from the Japanese perspective. So it's 2 movies about the same kind of battle, and that worked just so well. And it's amazing that he did 2 movies with 2
Oh,
different perspectives. So it's really
I,
cool. If you haven't seen them, I really recommend them.
I think I've only seen Flags for Our Fathers. That ends where they're putting the flag up, like how they've
Yeah,
got the
that
monument. Yeah,
famous,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
correct,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've seen that one. So my movies, Dirty Harry, Unforgiven, Million Dollar Baby, American Sniper, and Mystic River. So you've not seen American Sniper?
I have seen American Sniper, I have, but I like these other 5 that I mentioned better.
No, righto, mate. Sh- shout out to Space Cowboys. I do enjoy Space Cowboys. Invictus as well, because we've got a couple of rugby fans on the pod. I
You.
do think the rugby scenes are pretty bad, but Invictus and then the Mule do like a good 90-year-old getting in a threesome. Alrighty, Sean Penn, 3-time Oscar winner, Sean Penn, baby. Um, I was going to say that he's never been to the Oscars, but then I was watching something today. I'm pretty sure he collected this Oscar. So there you go. Mr. Sean Penn has been around Hollywood. So what? He's married Madonna for a hot minute. Childhood friends with Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez. Couple of kids with Robin Wright. Also dated Jewel and Charlize Theron. Like he's he's living pretty well. He's doing all right.
Clearly likes blondes.
Yeah, yeah. He went to jail as well for assaulting press, which I think he enjoys doing. And he was actually housed with a serial killer. The serial killer then wrote him a letter when Sean Penn was out, and Sean Penn wrote back. The serial killer um, he said, "I hope you get capital punishment by the gas chamber."
Oh, man, love him, man. He's so cool.
Loved him in The Game, Milk, Mystic River, One Battle After Another, Dead Man Walking. I really thought he was really good in this. As you're saying, like he was staying in character outside of the movie. So apparently a bit of the crew were a bit upset with him or was a bit somber to kind of talk with, which made sense. But I look, every scene he's in, I've got
Oh,
a
man,
couple of
Sean
favorite
Penn's
scenes.
so depressed. Don't even go talk to him, bro.
Yeah, it's almost like his daughter's just been brutally murdered. Like, God, don't go near that guy. Um,
Oh, man.
he probably was just sucking down a lot of fags though out the back.
Hiding.
what do you think of his performance? Like, I guess when we go through the scenes, there's a couple of really standout scenes for me, but I just thought he was pretty much perfect in every scene.
I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I got so much raw emotion from him. You know, that part where it's like, "Is that my daughter? Is that my daughter?" Like, and then when Davey came out the back to have his cigarette and he was sitting down and talking with Sean, um,
Oh,
that
there's your
was
Boston
just
accent, Sean. He was talking with
Sean.
Sean.
He's talking with
Sean.
Sean Penn, Jimmy, I should have said. Yeah, I thought he was absolutely fantastic in this movie. So yeah, it deservingly of that Oscar. I think that's the same Oscar category that we were talking about in a previous podcast. When he went head to head with
Your man, Bill Murray. We're jumping ahead of yourself, mate. We'll get to the Oscars in a second. Is that who you're
okay.
talking about?
Yeah. And
Um,
who was the yeah, we'll talk about it later. Yeah.
I will say, the first time I watched it, I thought Tim Robbins was like great, and I wasn't quite sure about Sean Penn. I was like, oh, he's pretty good, but I'm not quite sure about the character. Second time, I was like, oh my God, I'm so terrible with takes. Sean Penn is fucking amazing throughout this whole movie. Moving to Tim Robbins, who played Davy Boyle, I just thought that portrayal of like a damaged, broken man is heartbreakingly good. Like, it was just unbelievable. Like, the real victim across the whole movie probably never recovered. As we were saying before, like, just wants to do the best for his family, and then murdered for a crime he didn't commit. I know you're a big Tim Robbins man. Do you want to go through Tim Robbins?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you mentioned, huge Tim Robbins fan. He was fantastic, lights out in this movie. So it'll be interesting. We'll talk about it later when we do the Frederick Zola to find out who we like the best. But yeah, it was a weird, quite a stretch for him in the 2000s because he came off his 90s peak of Shawshank Redemption and The Player. Uh, he was more. He took a bit of a step back. He's just getting, more into politics and becoming like an actor director. But Mystic River, just reignited his mainstream profile. But it's really good in this movie. Tim Robbins is actually 6'5". He's huge. And Eastwood kept having to adjust the shots because Robbins unintentionally dwarfed everyone in emotional confrontation. So you could see parts of the movie where he's sitting down talking to Jimmy, like we mentioned before, he went out for a cigarette. Then he's sitting down in the interrogation and in the bar scenes. And then when he's walking at night and then runs into Jimmy's sitting on the patio stairs, but like a little bit higher up, just to like match the same height there as Tim Robbins. But yeah, I found that interesting about him. But yeah, I just love Tim Robbins and what he did in this part I thought was unbelievable.
Well, that was a surprise question I had for you. Do you think his height hurt his career, or has hurt his career?
No, probably not. I would probably not say because I think, notoriously shorter people such as, Tom Cruise have gone on to have fantastic careers. I just think he got more serious in regards to becoming more politically engaged. And I think he wanted to do a bit more sort of directing as well. So I don't think it hurt his career. I think he was sort of being choosy at this point of his career.
Okay.
How about you?
I feel like he potentially has been overlooked for some parts. I feel like he could have had a better career than what he's had. But as you said, he might have gone off and done other things like political things or directing and things like that. Looking at his catalogue, it's great. It's better than anything I'll ever do. But I just think
Could have been
for the
more?
caliber of the actor, yeah, maybe a little bit
Yeah.
more.
No, I think you're right.
So,
Yeah.
so Brad, top three, or what's your thriller drama wild card for Tim Robbins?
So I'll do Mystic River then for a thriller, Shawshank Redemption for a drama, and then a wild card, which is a hidden gem if you haven't seen it, is Arlington Road. That movie is amazing. So, yeah, that's my three.
I had Mystic River, Shawshank Redemption, Top Gun. Merlin,
Yeah.
baby.
Well, I had Top Gun if we're doing action. Yeah.
Yeah. Too tall
Too
for a
tall.
pilot. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, too tall. Kevin Bacon. You're a lousy fucking lawyer, Jack. So last night I had the honor of taking my own self to see Project Hail Mary. And I was thinking during Project Hail Mary, could Kevin Bacon do this movie? So to me, Kevin Bacon is a household name. Everyone knows who Kevin Bacon is. However, looking at his catalog and his IMDb, I don't know if Kevin Bacon ever fully broke into Hollywood. And what I mean by that is, I don't think that he is an everyman or like an all-star kind of top tier can own the movie. So he couldn't do like a Castaway, The Martian, Project Hail Mary, something where like 80% of the movie is just you. I feel like he needs a 1A and a 1B. He can be 1A, but he needs a 1B with him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, that's a really good take because, yeah, when I was looking back through the movies that he had done, I was thinking of movies like Apollo 13 and like Hello Man. Hello Man, he is sort of the main character, but you're right, it's not like 80% of the movie's about him. It's sort of diluted with supporting cast. So, I mean, I personally do love Kevin Bacon. I think he's amazing, but you're right. I don't think. I mean, he was steadily getting work, but it wasn't in like, big sort of roles, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I actually also like Hello Man. I had a question. Are you a Hello Man fan, Brad?
Yeah, you did? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What about that one scene, hey? What about that one scene?
No, I was going to say, speaking of Kevin Bacon, I actually came up with a Mount Rushmore of actors whose name have food in it. So I had a shout out to Tim Curry, Sean Bean, John Candy, Halle Berry, Brie Larson, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Carrot Top. But my Mount Rushmore of actors who have names with food in it, I had Chuck Norris, Rip. Chuck roast apparently is a big American thing, so shout out to our American viewers. I had Meatloaf, I had John Hamm, and I had Kevin Bacon. So I went with a meaty Mount Rushmore.
That's great. Love the ham. Got to have the ham on the.
Love the
Gotta love
ham.
John Ham. We're a John Ham family in this household. So Kevin, I really feel like his career takes off in '84 with Footloose. I would say his '90s run, especially starting with JFK, followed by A Few Good Men, like is a real big breakout. As I mentioned, The River Wild, and then there's Sleepers and a couple of other movies. So my action drama wild card for Kevin Bacon, Apollo 13, A Few Good Men, JFK. He's in JFK for like one scene, but he comes in hot and he leaves even hotter. My God, it is great. I know you haven't seen it. We're going to be doing it. But he plays a gay prisoner and it's just amazing, that monologue or like the scene that he does. You're like, oh, this is the best.
I was looking up his IMDb and I saw he was in JFK and I was thinking to myself, oh my fucking God, I need to see this movie because I feel like we talk about it on every pod. But
Yeah.
yeah, I had Kevin Bacon drama action wildcard. I had Mystic River, and then for action I had A Few Good Men. But if I can't have that because it's not actionally enough, I had Wild Things, which I thought he was pretty cool in. And then my wild card is Crazy Stupid Love. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but David Linghagen cuckolded me. Man, it's just such a funny movie, bro. I like that one.
I did have a shout out for the like Nazi that he plays or whatever in X-Men: The Last Stand, and also shout out to The Air Up There because that was a big movie in my childhood. Laura Linney, love seeing her. Just love seeing Laura Linney. She can play a great bitch. If you need someone to play a bitch, call up Laura Linney,
Give her a
put her
call.
in. I love that look at the end that she gives Davy's wife. Like, you think you're better than me? Kind of very Bostonian look. Like you fucked up, lady, and like I'm the queen. Um, the the other scene, which I'm not sure if you picked up on this, but the scene where Kevin Bacon and Lawrence Fishburne are first talking to Jimmy in the hospital just after he's identified his daughter, and he starts talking about Katie and Katie's mother, and at first, like Laura Lindley's got a hand on his shoulder, and she's kind of all sympathizing, And then Jimmy starts talking about how much he loved Katie's mum and how great Katie's mum was. And you see her kind of face change. And she kind of gives like a bit of an awkward look. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, this is just some
Perfect.
really subtle, wonderful shit that you're just doing right now. And I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And then, as I mentioned, that Lady Macbeth, like, you're the king, like, you got a big heart, you have 4 hearts for your daughters, like, just telling him to brace being a gangster, just like, I was like, not expecting that. I was just like, this is great.
That daddy's
She
a
was,
king, and kings
yeah,
need to
yeah,
do what
yeah.
they need to do. Yeah.
Kings don't make mistakes or whatever. Funnily enough, so she was filming this movie and Love Actually concurrently. So she was
Wow.
flying in between London and Boston. Two very, very different characters. But I thought that was pretty kind of incredible as well. I know you're a big Laura Linney fan, or Laura Linney, sorry.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Laura in
Yeah,
this
I
movie?
absolutely love. Yeah, this movie I thought was fantastic. You mentioned there that monologue of hers at the end was just like it just cut deep. It was so good. Being a huge fan of her, she for all those Frasier fans out there, she ended up being Frasier Crane's ultimate love interest at the end of Frasier. So yeah, she's absolutely yeah, she's a cutie and she's a great actor too. But I did a little comedy drama wild card on Laura Linney, so I had comedy at her in the Truman Show drama. P.S. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but that actually has Marcia Gay Hayden in it. So I'm talking all Boston. It's got her in it too. They both co-star in that movie. Co-star. Oh my god, I can't do the Boston. And then for Wildcard, I had the Mothman Prophecies, which is probably one of my favorite movies. Yeah, I think she has such a good diverse range, and like I said, she's easy on the eye too. So yeah, she's great.
Easy on the hour. So I had Truman Show as well. I had The Life of David Gale, and I had Primal Fear. But I think I would potentially sub her out in Primal Fear for Mystic River now.
Mm.
And I did want to shout out Wendy Bird in Ozark. Have you seen Ozark,
I
the
haven't seen
TV show?
Ozark. No, no.
Oh, mate, do yourself a favor. Wendy
All right.
Bird, she's great. She's a bitch. She's great. Our man Lawrence
Send in
Fishburne.
the bitch. Send
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the gimp.
Our man with the plan was talking about sending in gimps. Our man with the plan, Lawrence Fishburne. So I'm sure we're all fully aware of the Pulp Fiction story. So Lawrence turned down Pulp Fiction, and that's how
Whoops.
Samuel got it. Yeah, big mistake. I don't know who his manager was
Whoops.
at the time, but I'd be getting a new manager. So to me, he's one of those actors where my eyes are drawn to him every time he's on screen, and his
Mm.
voice to me is just very commanding and smoothing, and I feel like, oh, I'm okay now, Daddy. Everything's going to be okay. Whenever he kind of talks. Now, if he gets a little bit angry, I get a maybe different feeling. But I thought that him and Kevin Bacon or Sean, the character, really bounced off each other really nicely in this movie and had a bit of like really good buddy cop, good cop, bad cop banter. And no one, whenever they were on screen together, I didn't feel that either of them was really stealing the scene from the other one. I thought they actually were a very good pair, and I
Mm.
could see these guys being partners, in real life. Um, h- h- how did you feel, or what are your thoughts on Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah, no, well, firstly, with regards to Mystic River, I think you're absolutely right. I wrote that down too. I think that they had such great rapport, Lawrence Fishburne and Kevin Bacon, that they really bounced off each other quite well. He's known to me primarily from The Matrix as Morpheus, but yeah, he has been in quite a few movies, and famously, sadly, well, maybe not sadly for the movie, but he turned down Pulp Fiction, as you mentioned. But I did an action drama wildcard there for Lawrence Fishburne. So I had action, I had The Matrix. I had drama. I did have Mystic River, and maybe I have Mystic River for all these people because it's such a good movie. But wildcard, I had Event Horizon. I love that movie. That movie's amazing, and he's so good in that. But a cheeky little shout out though, because he's also in Apocalypse Now, which is a
Yeah,
really good movie.
yeah, he's great, and I'm pretty sure the Rolling Stones come on. whilst when they're on the boat going down the river. I had The Matrix all-time performance as well. I had Boys in the Hood for drama, and then wild card. I knew you were going to do Event Horizon, so I did
Oh, you
John
did?
Wick franchise. I did the John Wick franchise. I just grouped them all together because that's right, everyone. I do cheat. All right. So Macy Gay Harden. She's your
Gay.
girl, so I'll let you take over.
Yeah, man, I was talking about Easy on the Eye before. Man, I for some reason I've got a huge crush on her. A huge crush on her. I think she's a babe. Like I love her, and she's just such an amazing actress too. Like she's fresh off her Oscar win for Pollock in 2000, and she was entering a run of really good supporting actresses roles. So Pollock and then Mystic River in 2003. But her performance in Pollock, she actually beat out some pretty heavy hitters. So she beat out Judi Dench in Chocolat. She beat out Kate Hudson Kate Hudson and Frances McDormand in Almost Famous, and Julie Walters from Billy Elliot. So she snagged that one, that 2000 Oscar for Pollock. But yeah, I've thought that this role, her playing Celeste, really dug into her strengths. Like, the character I thought was brittle, anxious, morally conflicted, as we will talk about or have talked about, and very human. So yeah, 100% she was deserving, of this, nomination for Mystic River. And, I actually think she should have won as well for this. We'll get into the Oscars later, but yeah, I thought she was amazing. I absolutely love her. So yeah.
All right, numbers, money time. Brad, you're the numbers guy. Talk us
Cha-chings.
through the box office.
Cha-ching. So as we talked about, Clint Eastwood is notoriously known for keeping a low budget and to budget. So the budget for this movie was around 25 to 30 million, and it crushed it in the box office with 156.6 million worldwide. So yeah, absolutely dominated, I thought. Really, really good movie.
Lovely. Oscars time. So, 2 Oscars, Sean Penn and Tim Robbins. So the first time I was watching this movie, I only thought that Sean Penn had won an Oscar. I didn't know that Tim had won an Oscar. And I was like sitting the whole time like, Tim Robbins is fucking amazing in this movie. I was like, as I said to you the first time, I thought he was like the best actor in the movie. I was like, how the fuck did this guy not win an Oscar? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, thank the heavens for that. As you said, and I think you've spoken about it on a previous pod, you thought it was probably Bill Murray's best chance to win an Oscar. Do you think it was an egregious loss, or do you think Sean was just too good?
Well, I mean, retrospectively, because he's won 2 other ones, maybe now you could go back and give it to Bill Murray. But we were talking about this on the Pirates of the Caribbean podcast, because Johnny Depp was nominated for Best Actor. So you had Sean Penn for Mystic River, Johnny Depp for Pirates of the Caribbean. You had Ben Kingsley for House of Sand and Fog, Jude Law for Cold Mountain, and then Bill Murray for Lost in Translation. So I probably still would give it to Bill Murray. I just think he was so good in Lost in Translation, but I don't want to diminish from the performance of Sean Penn in this.
Yes, I disagree. I think Sean was better. I think Sean deserved it. My question for you is, do you think, and I don't think she would have won if she was put into this one, but do you think, what's your lady's name? Marcy Gay Harden would be better in the leading role? Because I saw Charlize won, but Charlize won for Monster, so I don't think she was going to beat her for that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't call her like an actress in a leading role, because I think it was definitely a supporting role. But I still personally think that she was robbed. Like, her performance was just so devastatingly good and easily worthy of a win. So I really think that this movie should have come away with 2 or 3 Academy. It came away with 2, but it should have come away with 3 with Marcia Gay Harden. Or you can give back the best actor, give it back to Bill Murray, and then give me Tim Robbins and Marcia Gay Harden. So yeah, I really do think she should have won.
I haven't seen Cold Mountain, so I can't comment on Renee Zellweger's win for Best Supporting Role in
That's
Cold
good, but
Mountain.
this is better.
What did you think about the Best Picture? Because I've maybe thrown you on the spot. So Best Picture was Lord of the Rings: Return of the King was the winner, and then the movies nominated was Lost in Translation, Mystic River, Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, Seabiscuit. I think that's it.
Okay, well, not knowing, I mean, yeah, I get it. I do like Lord of the Rings, and I do think it's a fantastic trilogy, but I think it's probably, I know I'm going to get crucified this, but it's probably too many awards for them. And if you're just going movie versus movie, I think Mystic River is actually better than Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. So I really do think
Yeah.
Mystic River probably should have won as well. So, I said 2 or 3, maybe it's 3 or 4.
Yeah, look, I think this goes back to my kind of complaint the other with Pirates of the Caribbean, how Lord of the Rings won for score and they'd already won for score. I'm like, how fucking different is the score from the first one to the third one? All right, nerds, email me. Let's have a conversation about it. But I don't
Send
think
it.
it's that
Send
different.
us the
Yes,
email.
send
Send
us
it.
our first email. Send us our
Do it.
first email.
Do it. Lord of
But
the Rings sucks.
I
Send
don't
us the
know. I
email.
don't know if Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King is an Oscar movie. Like, if you look at the history of the Oscars, is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King an Oscar movie, or is Lost in Translation or Mystic River the type of movie that wins an Oscar?
Yeah, you're right, because, I mean, obviously having seen all 3 of the Lord of the Rings one, I actually think Fellowship of the Ring is the more complete movie out of all 3 of them. So you're right. I think Lost in Translation and Mystic River, in
Yeah,
my opinion, are probably more better or more worthy of a Best Picture.
yeah, yeah. Look, agreeing again. All right, let's go through the scenes, Brad.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a few scenes in this, but we start off with the childhood abduction. So you got Sean, Jimmy, and Davy playing in the street when Davy is kidnapped by fake cops. Then you got the adults' lives reestablished, so you get to learn a bit more about their characters. So Jimmy runs a neighborhood store, Sean works in homicide, and Dave lives a quiet life. Then you've got Katie's night out, so Katie's last night out. So Katie's last night out, Katie goes out drinking with her friends and spotted by Dave at the pub. And she's clearly
Have you
drunk.
have you ever jumped on top of a bar and started dancing?
No, I think if I did, I'd be asked to sit down immediately. How about yourself?
Yeah, look, that shit doesn't happen. I might have done it once in uni, and I'm pretty sure I was out the front door walking home afterwards. So RSA, guys, RSA.
100%. We talked about, you mentioned it before, but Davey comes home blooded and the wife is just totally cool with it. But no, he's shaken and injured, and he told his wife that he fought off a mugger.
So
Everyone wakes.
the first time I saw that scene, after he's like telling her that he fought off a mug or whatever, she's cleaning him up, and then she starts kissing him. So I have to turn the volume down a little bit because all the girls are asleep and everything else like that. But I was like, are these guys having sex? Like, fucking clean up his wounds. Like, the guy's bleeding out. I thought she somehow got turned on. I rewound to be like, what did he say to turn her on? And I was like, oh, okay, no, I think it's just a nice little lovingly kiss.
We've got Katie disappears, so Jimmy wakes up to find Katie never came home, and everyone sort of starts to panic a little bit. Katie's body's found, so Sean and Whitey discover Katie's abandoned car and then her murdered body in a nearby park. Jimmy's
Pause.
grief.
Yeah, so I want to get to that. So the breakdown. That's my daughter. Is that my daughter?
Is that my daughter?
Is that my daughter? 8 guys holding him back, I counted. I did not think that was corny at all, and I still felt that he could break through them if he wanted to go see his daughter. Like, I was just like, this is perfect. And then like the kind of the
Like
bird's eye
helicopter
view shot.
Yeah.
The bird's eye view shot. I was like, is this God looking down on like what's happening at the moment? Like, this is great.
Yeah, that was really good. Dave raises suspicion. So Dave's injuries, strange behavior, and shifting story make the police and his wife uneasy. Sean interviews the families, and you can sense buried tension and unspoken secrets. Dave's story starts to unravel, so Dave starts giving conflicting explanations about his wound, deepening suspicion around him. Jimmy runs his own investigation, so he taps his old network, the criminal network of the Savage brothers, to hunt down faster and rougher than what the police do. Sean follows the gun. Whitey pursues Dave. So Sean uncovers evidence suggesting Katie's death may be tied to a liquor robbery. While we talked about before, Whitey is saying, no, your friendship with Dave is putting you in the way. And then Whitey interrogates Dave. Dave, after that, spirals emotionally out of control. And he becomes even more paranoid and more withdrawn and increasingly unstable at home. The 911 call is played back, and Sean pieces together that the 911 caller knew who the victim was in the crime. And this is where it gets good. This is where it builds as two parallel stories now happening at the same time. So you've got story A, which is the Savage brothers collect Dave. So Val and Nick invite Dave out or the roost of a drink, convinced that Dave is the killer. And then story B is you've got Brendan confronts the mute brother Silent Ray and his friend John O'Shea after finding his father's missing gun. And then you go into the next scene. So scene A, you've got Dave confesses under pressure about killing Katie, and the film shows us in a flashback he's actually killed a pedophile that night. And then you've got scene B, which is John pulls out Ray's gun, and then Sean and Whitey, having already linked the teens to Katie's murder, arrive just in time to stop Brendan being shot and arrest both John and Dave. Then you've got scene where Jimmy executes Dave, believing Dave murdered Katie. Jimmy kills him and gets his vengeance. Then you've got Jimmy learns the truth. So the next morning, Sean reveals to Jimmy who killed his daughter. Jimmy silently absorbed the weight of what he's done, and he's questioned about when is the last time he saw Dave. And then you've got the parade epilogue, where life in the neighborhood resumes as the characters drift into an uneasy, permanent moral fog.
I've got a scene which you didn't mention. So the domestic responsibility scene. So when Laura Linney, sorry, I can't say her name. I'll just call her Laura. Her dad comes and, they're putting the beers in the cooler and they're in the laundry. And the dad's like, my wife died, but, you'll grieve. You'll get over this because you're a man. And that's what men do. Very Bostonian. But then he's like, but you've got domestic responsibilities to my daughter and my grandkids. And Sean Penn's just like, your wife died in her sleep. My daughter was murdered. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck you, man. Like, I'm just like, this is great. Like, I would actually say that's probably one of my favorites. It's my top 3 favorite scenes in the movie. It's not very long, but I'm like, this is great.
No, that is great. He's trying to like compare like, oh, my wife passing, gently in the night is the same as your daughter getting murdered. It's like, no, mate, it's not the same ballpark.
Yeah, like go fuck yourself. And then the other thing I like is when I don't know how he got this. I don't know how he did what he did in the scene. So when Kevin Bacon or Sean is telling Jimmy how his daughter was bashed with a hockey stick, and he does the noise. I'm just like, how did you even think of that? Like, that's just freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, just great.
Well, let's go into it now. Let's go into the Hans Gruber, the slowly falling off a building face moment that stole the movie intentionally or unintentionally. So what have you got?
So I've got a couple of shout outs. So how I mentioned before, how they reworked the opening shot of Davey being driven away in the car a couple of times into the movie. I really like that.
Can I just interrupt there? When they've got the last shot of him driving away, like, because the characters of Sean Penn and Kevin Bacon are sort of like in emotion, but then the scene when the car's driving away and looking back at Sean Penn and Kevin Bacon, they're both just standing still straight, Like man, even now just talking about it, like my hairs on the back of the neck standing up. Like that is just, yeah, you're right. That's such a good scene.
Yeah, like basically you're fucked and there's nothing we can do about it. We're just
Yeah, we're
standing here watching
helpless.
you about to, excuse the pun, but go get fucked.
Yeah,
Um, so that's really great. As I said, that's my daughter, but my top two, and I'm not sure if I can split it. I think I will split it. So the domestic responsibilities, I think, is my second favorite. The vampire scene when Davy's breaking to Celeste. Like, as I said, for a minute, I thought we were going full primal fear and he was split personalities.
yeah.
Just the way that he's describing it and just how he's like, am I now a vampire because of what he's fucking done? Like, I was just like, holy shit, give him the Oscar right now.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, that was such a good movie, and it makes you question, like, is he really the killer? And this leads into my favorite scene too, which is the How About a Sprite. So when Whitey and Sean are interviewing Davy, I thought was the best. Like Davy's just so cool, cold, collected, like completely in control,
Yeah.
and it just makes you second guess, whether he's broken and a destroyed man, or if he's really like some cold, calculated killer who knows he can do something and get away with it. Like, that whole scene is like, hey, so you think I can get a Sprite, Sean? He's like, sure, man. He's like, okay, I
Yeah.
get it. You're the good cop. How about a meatball sub while you're at it? He's like, hey, you bitch, Dave. Looks like you're going to have to
Yeah.
wait. He's like, yeah, but you're somebody's bitch, aren't you, Sean? I'm like, oh my God, that is just so brutal. And then it goes into later on, like when he's like explaining that, he didn't have the car that night and he fell off the thing and stuff. And he's like, he just turns to Sean and goes, things looking any better on that Sprite, Sean? And then like Sean and Whitey are outside later and just go like, we just got our asses kicked in there. Like, you can't break him,
Yeah.
man. And then Whitey's like, I can break him. He's like, no, you can't. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, that
Yeah.
was just unbelievable.
Yeah. You could tell that it wasn't his first time that the guy's been through interrogation.
Yeah, 100%.
Really good. All right. Best quotes. So special shout out to, what do you say, Divine? The, the, the police commissioner or the police cop. What do you say, Divine? And he gives a shit answer. So my favorite quote, I will say, is when Lawrence Fishburne, they're on after the, he kept cutting me off on that sort of opening scene introducing Kevin Bacon. This girl, she makes gay guys rethink their orientation. When the chick cop asks him out for a
Trying
drink,
to
and he's
pick
like,
up
"Oh,
Kevin Bacon.
yeah," he's like, "Oh, maybe."
Yeah, that's
And
good.
then
I
the
do
only
like
other
that.
one, because I hadn't really heard spit be used before like this, and I want to now use it, is, Val, if you want to spit something, spit it. When he's about to tell him that like Davey was picked up by the cops.
Yeah, that's good.
What about you?
I, I had a few. I'll get into my favorite one last, but there's a few funny ones when Dave goes, when he's being, friendly interviewed by Sean at the start when he's walking his son to school, and he goes, "Yes, the neighborhood needs a fucking crime wave, get property values back to where they belong." That was pretty funny. Sean Devine going, sometimes I think all three of us got in that car. And then also like Sean when he's on the phone with his wife and she's not saying anything. This is at the end, and he goes, "Hey Sean, how's your day?" "Oh, me? I'm tired of wishing things made sense. I'm tired of caring about some dead girl, and there's just going to be another one after her. Sending killers to jail is just sending them where they've been heading their whole dumb, pathetic lives. The dead are still dead." That's really powerful. You mentioned it before, Laura Linney's "because I told the girls that daddy's a king and kings know what to do and does it." I thought that was an amazing monologue. Also like Dave going, maybe someday you forget what it's like to be human and maybe then it's okay. But I think my favorite one, absolute favorite, is "So Jimmy, when's the last time you saw Dave?" And he goes, "The last time I saw Dave? Yeah, Dave Boyle. Dave Boyle. Yeah, Jimmy, Dave Boyle. That was 25 years ago going up this street in the back of that car." And that's when you got that scene of them just standing there dead still. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, man, that was the one for me.
I also, in like Dave's encouragement to his son, "That's a good swing. It was a good swing." It was so
Yeah, yeah,
sweet
yeah.
at the start.
He's he's so tragic because he's such a good dad, man. Like,
Yeah,
he's
I
such a
know. He's
good
such a good
dad.
bloke. He's
Seriously.
such a good bloke.
Walking his kid to school and playing ball with him every afternoon. Jesus, like, oh my God.
So best song or score. So my one is Was It Used Well? So I had the score when they find Katie's body. Doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for me at all. It's like I don't know what it is, but it's just like this music is not needed now. And then it transitioned to the sequence when they're in the hospital grieving. That's when the music works. So I'm like, they need sort of some type of reveal music or like dramatic kind of death music before
Mm.
you go into the somber music. For me, it was like the somber music, and you're staring at a dead lady and you're like, I'm not sure if this works. But that was
Mm.
my kind of take.
Mm. Well, do you know that Eastwood put the music together? Clint Eastwood put the
Yeah,
music
I
together
saw,
on
I
this
saw
movie.
that.
Yeah. So, for something so dark and neo,
Another cost-cutting example, bro.
oh, what a legend.
God, Clint. I'll do the score. I'll do the fucking score as well.
I'll act. If Shorty can't act, get him out. If he can't do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll step in.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So something that's so dark and neo noir in nature. I specifically went back to listen for the music the second time I watched it for this pod. And surprisingly, I found that the music was rarely used in this movie. I thought I remember it being more, but it wasn't used as much. But I think the score at the end of the movie and at the end of the first scene, after Dave escapes and goes back home, when he's looking out the window at Sean and Jimmy sort of waving at him, I think that's really brilliant. And that's the same score that you put on the podcast spoiler on Instagram for all those that follow us. Yo. Yeah, that music score I thought was the best.
Pre-2000. So I know this was 2003, but I got a couple of pre-2000s.
Oh, get into
Do
it.
you have
Let's
anything?
go. I do. I've
All right.
got kids playing hockey in the street. So we used to play outside a lot in our childhood, but it's a different world now. You wouldn't let your kids go outside and play in the
Oh, that's a
street.
good one. Yeah. Game
Oh,
on. Just
yeah.
Wayne's World.
I also had writing your name in concrete. You don't see that much anymore either. Like, I used to, every time there was fresh concrete put down, you'd see some idiot put their name in it.
Yeah.
And then I also had
Brenda
the
was here.
yeah. Well, MH loves JK. It's just like, well, whatever, mate. And then I had the old school box TVs. So we all live in that flat screen era now. I don't even hardly remember the box TVs anymore, but we used to all have them back in the day.
Nice one. I had ashtrays galore in this movie. Every table had an ashtray on it. And then the other thing was the old lady not going outside because she's in a dressing gown. Like, if a poor kid's getting murdered, go outside and help her, love. Like, Jesus, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's good.
So the Benjamin Button, what's aged the best? Brad.
I had double investigation, so I love it in a movie or a show when the cops and the bad guys are investigating the crime at the same time. I've seen it done really well. Sons of Anarchy, which is a show that we both like. They got the Sons of Anarchy club and the cops. They're trying to catch a pedophile, and they're both investigating at the same time. It's like a race to see who can find the real killer or the real perpetrator first. And I really love that. I really enjoy the conflicting information that you're getting. Who's getting to the lead or who's getting to the witness first. And we touched on it before. Like, as the viewer, you're trying to piece it all together as the information's coming at you. And it also creates one of my favorite things in the world that I wish more people would have, and that's a sense of urgency. And I really felt that in this movie. I was conflicted on who I wanted to find the killer first. You know, obviously, if you got the cops finding the killer first, it's probably going to be a happier ending for the killer rather than the Savage brothers finding the killer first. But I think you secretly root for the Savage brothers because you want to see, that grim sort of ending, where the people don't have to follow laws and warrants. And it turned really dark at the end. And, I've mentioned in previous pods before, I'm not a huge fan of a Hollywood ending. I always like it when it's a dark or a sad or a tragic ending because, sadly, I think that is what life is sometimes. It's not all, unicorns fighting rainbows. So yeah, the double investigation. I just think it's aged so well, and I'd love to see more of it.
I had Boston accents. Love a good Boston accent. So Blake Lively, not the hugest Blake Lively fan, but Blake Lively, the town, when she that fucking scene in Charleston with John Hamm, put a fork in me, I'm done every time. It
Yeah.
is just the best. And I
Give,
thought,
give
as I
us
said, everyone did a good Boston accent. No, I'm not. I'm not
give
going to
give
try and
us
do
give us
Blake
your best
Lively.
Boston accent. Well, give us your best
No,
Boston
I
accent.
can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I haven't prepared. I haven't prepared. And then in regards to this movie, well, I guess Boston accents are, but the opening scene with the dad sitting on the balcony, sinking some suds and listening to the baseball, and then betting each other on what's going to happen. Like, I bet you this
Yes.
guy's going to hit a homer. Ladies and gentlemen, does not get any better than that. Like, that is life.
That is so true. Yeah. I think as a dad, it's always your dream to turn to one of your kids and go, fetch your old man a beer, will you? Like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that ad campaign in our child ruined that for us, but
Yeah.
maybe we can bring it back.
I remember that too. Yeah, it did ruin it for
Yeah.
us.
What is it? Kevin, go get me a beer, son.
Yeah.
Just,
Get your old man a beer.
yeah.
The
All
choices you
right.
have affect your children.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lily's always asking if she get me a beer. I'm like, no, you're not allowed to, sweetheart.
The ad said no.
All right. So, what's aged the worst? So might be stepping on another category here, but the whole storyline with Kevin Bacon, so Sean and his wife, like, didn't really add much to me. And there was no real payoff at the end. Like, I just thought the whole thing was pretty lame. Like, so all he needs to do is apologize, and the wife is going to get back in his life. But in the meantime, she's gone off and had a baby, named the baby. I don't even know if she sent him a fucking photo of the baby. It just all doesn't add up. Like, surely something else has happened here. But yeah, I don't know. Another thing that annoyed me, and because I'm a handshake man. I love a good handshake. The handshake between Sean and Celeste on the stairs, it's just all fingers. It's gross. It's disgusting. Like, come on, guys, do a good handshake. And then the only other thing was, and I don't know if it's aged the best, it's maybe just a question. How long does it take to match victims' blood, i.e. Katie's blood, and then the blood from the boot of the car? Can you do that in a day? Or does it take like a couple weeks? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. You never really know how long. I mean, surely they put it under a microscope or whatever in a computer and it goes match or no match. It doesn't have to think because you've got the two samples there. You're not checking a database. But just going on your first point there, do you think it's every married man's wet dream to get a call from the missus and she doesn't actually say anything and you don't have to explain yourself? Is that every married man's best case scenario?
It doesn't. I'd lose my shit. If she just kept calling me and I was just talking, I didn't get out. I'd be like, why the fucking stop calling me? Like, trying to solve a fucking murder case over here. Like, go away.
I had
what's aged the worst?
I have what's aged the worst is American kids having access to firearms. So, not to put off our American listeners, but we consistently hear of school shootings and mishaps. It's sad because you see lives wasted. Like a kid kills an innocent person, and that family, they have to live with that unforgettable negative impact on them. It's also a waste of life for the kid. That they've killed someone too. I can foresee Silent Ray and O'Shea each going away for like 30 years and they come out like, and they're over halfway through their life. Like who's going to employ them? Like, will they ever have a family? I mean, the whole situation is always just tragic and it continues to be an issue, sadly. So yeah, I hate seeing it.
Who are you having a beer with?
Well, you mentioned it before, but the whole cast is pretty depressing. So I chose to have a beer with Whitey. Me and him are going to go to the Cantop bar to have a beer with him and hopefully run into Jenny Claflin. So yeah, I need some laughs after this. So we're going with Whitey. We're going to hit that bar up.
Mate, if you all know me, and I'm sure you do, I'm at the Black Emerald, baby. Sinking some suds and sucking on some Marlboro Lights with Jimmy and the Savage Boys. I really hope Davey's there with me as well, but like that's my type of bar. That didn't look like there was anyone at the bar, so I can rock up straight to get a drink. He's like, get us a bottle. Fucking yeah, man. Hold the bottle. How many glasses you need? None. Just give me the bottle. The only thing I was concerned about at the bar was there wasn't enough TVs. So I was like, how am I going to be watching my sport, talking shit, and getting absolutely fucking wankered with these guys? But yeah, the Black Emerald all day. What
I love how you got Davey
well.
there. I love how you got Davey there. Hey, Davey, last call, mate. Last round.
I know. Yeah, Davey loves a beer. What do they say to him? Do you want to go? What's the quote? Like, how about a boys' night out in the middle of the day? That's me. I'm a day drinker these days. Savage
100%.
Boys, come pick me up. I'm there all day of the week. All right, Recast or Goat Cast. So you're casting director. You're presenting to the board. So I will go through my ones first, which I think you're not going to like. But I'm going to recast Sandra Bullock for Celeste. So there's no such thing as small parts, only small actors, Brad. I don't know why. She was fine. Give me Sandra.
It's going to be an interesting Easter after that comment.
The other one was the Savage Brothers. So I was trying to think of just Italian actors to put in as the Savage Brothers. I don't know if they're meant to be Italian. I just went that way. So I came up, can you give me Frank Vincent and Joey P? So you know who Frank Vincent is?
No, I know. Obviously, we know Joey P, but no, who's Frank Vincent?
So Frank Vincent is the guy in Casino who Joe Pesci screws over, and then he whacks him with the baseball bat at the end. He's also
the grey haired mate.
Yeah, the grey white hair. Yeah. And if I wanted to look, because I wanted them to be brothers, I would then go Frank Vincent and Tony Cicero. So Paulie Walnuts from Sopranos. I'd have those two playing brothers. But Joey P and I think Frank Vincent is my first choice.
He's an interior decorator.
Yeah. What about you? Are you recasting anyone?
No, I don't think so. Only because the writer of the actual novel was pretty happy with it. But I was going to call out that Dave Boyle, played by Tim Robbins, there were some casting alternatives for it. So Michael Keating met for the role. Your boyfriend, Daniel Day-Lewis, was discussed early, and John C. Reilly was also considered. But ultimately, I'm happy that they went with Tim Robbins. But yeah, I mentioned it before, Marcia Gay Harden and Laura Linney both starred in a sneaky good movie called P.S. So that's very indie and cool, so check that one out. But yeah, I really do like this cast. I do think they all do very well. So
yeah, I don't think I like John C. Reilly. I just don't think he would have been good. He is a good dad, though. He's a good dad in some movies, but no. Yeah. Alrighty, what character could Bruce Campbell have played?
So I had Bruce Campbell as Pete, the shop worker in Jimmy's store. So Brendan and Silent Ray leave after visiting in the morning of Katie's disappearance. So Bruce Campbell goes to Sean Penn, why do you hate that kid so badly? And then Penn goes, it's just not hate, just doesn't that little mute fucker spook you out sometimes? And Campbell goes, no, not Silent Ray, Brendan. Penn goes, I didn't like his father. What was his name? Just Ray. Just Ray, that's it. That's the best he got? Yeah. Oh, that sucks. The sum of $500 per month will be paid to the wife of the terrifying, the deadly, the amazing Just Ray Harris. So that's Bruce Campbell from Spider-Man. And he's the ring announcer.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Awesome. Perfect. I actually quite enjoy it. I didn't think of it. So I had very hard choice for Bruce Campbell. And this is a bit of a horrifying choice today for BC. But I had him as the fake cop / predator at the beginning. I think the dark human edge he has would do well. So old Davey's just done his little graffiti into the cement. Well. Look like someone's been a bad boy riding on pavement. That's vandalism, Junior. Now we can do this the easy way, or taps the fake. Actually, there is no easy way. Get in the fucking car, baby. as I said, I think he would nail the transition from like false friendliness to a predator creep very well, but not the best casting for Bruce, I understand, but he's got range. He's got range, everyone, so it would be fine. New category, which we've been holding on for a movie over 2 hours. So does this movie deserve to be over 2 hours?
Long movies, I've always got a bit of a gripe with them. And I think this one could have been cut down. So you mentioned it before, the wife calling and that backstory for Sean. I could have done without it. I think the movie could have ended with the last time I saw Dave part. And that would have been a brilliant dark ending. I mean, you'd miss the monologue by Laura Linney, which was really good. So maybe that could have been done just before Shawnee ran into Jimmy. But you don't need the finger gun at the end. I could have done without that. So I think if they'd ended it with the last time I saw Dave part, that would have been fantastic. And then cut out Shawnee's wife. I don't think you need that.
Yeah, so I think the movie is 2 hours 17, roughly, or something like that. So I'm happy for the movie to go over 2 hours. I don't think it needed to be 2 hours 17. I agree with you. The movie could have ended a few times. I agree that last shot of Jimmy and Sean just standing on the street with the flashback of David being inducted, end scene, roll credits. We're all happy. Let's go home.
Yeah.
I do really, though, after that, there was a couple of things where I was like, oh, yeah, that's really good. Oh, that's really good. Like, even seeing Davy's son on the float and Celeste's reaction to that, like, that was a good little payoff for me.
Yeah.
The one thing, if I was in the editing room, I just would cut every scene, is Sean's wife and any reference to his wife. Like, you could have him at the end at the parade with the wife and kid, and it would add in the exact same amount of context for me as it did that the wife has got the shits with him throughout the whole movie and she's not talking to him. Like there's no payoff. So it, we could cut maybe 5 minutes from it. I do think it kind of drags on a little bit at the end, but I do quite enjoy the scene with Jimmy and his wife, and him talking about him being a king and him, I guess, fully embracing becoming a gangster again. But I agree. I think we can just cut out the wife. We don't need her. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Porn title. What's your porn title?
I had Mysterious Giver. So a young man gets swept away to a secluded B&B for 4 nights of orgasmic pleasure.
Okay. What was the title? What was the title?
Mysterious Giver. Instead of Mystic River, it's Mysterious Giver.
Okay. I had Misty's Rivers. Misty, a young Bostonian, is hard on her luck and on a bit of a drought. She leaves her parents and moves to Las Vegas in search of love. Will Misty's rivers flow again?
Oh my God. That's good. Oh, man. Luckily, people can't see us because I'm like crying half the time when we're doing this stuff. So, yeah.
I think porn title could be my favorite thing as well.
I have to say, this is the hardest, no pun intended, this is the hardest porn title to do, considering the subject matter was so dark.
I was like, look, we're just going to keep Boston and moving to Vegas, and that's it.
Yeah.
So best proper outfit. What are you taking? What are you taking straight to the pool room? What are you keeping?
I'm keeping Jimmy's black leather jacket, like from that end scene. Yeah.
Nice. So I had Davy's Boston Red Sox hat. I'll probably say the one that Tim Robbins wearing because the other one could be a little bit cursed. And then I had Jimmy's sunnies. Give me those sunnies.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, they're cool too. Yeah, nice.
So time you've been waiting for, Frederick Zula. So best performance on screen or off screen. So who are you giving the Frederick Zula to?
All right, I got a little bit of a story on this one if you bear with me, but Sean Penn, Tim Robbins, Marcia Gay Harden, Clint Eastwood, they all got their love for this movie and deservingly so. So I'll throw one at you. Kevin bringing home the bacon, since we're doing nicknames. He was really good in this movie, and I struggled to think of other movies where he is this good. So I know it's almost been 20 years after Footloose, people, so calm down. But as a big but, I don't want to devalue this award and make it a handout award. So I got off the phone with Jeffrey Rush earlier today, and he said that he was honored to win the Zola for the best offer. It meant more to him than the Oscar he got for Shine. So having said all that, I've changed my mind, and I give the Zola to, drumroll, Tim Robbins. So I always love a performance where I don't see the actor and I see the character. So you look at like, Heath Ledger's Joker, or Christoph Waltz as like Dr. King Schultz, or Hans Landa. Landa. So for me, Robbins, I thought was lights out in this movie. So, I mean, quite a few were, but for me, I thought he was the best.
What do you think of Kevin Bacon in A Few Good Men?
Yeah, that is one of my favorite movies. Well, it's one of my favorite movies. I do like him in that. But I think he's better in this. I think he's
Okay,
better in
he's
this.
always clean cut. He's a good clean cut actor.
Yeah.
So
He'd be a
I
great
like
Knox boy.
I, I like that you chose Tim Robbins, because I had Tim Robbins after the first viewing, hands down Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
After the second viewing, I had Sean Penn. So I'm going to
Yeah.
go with Sean Penn. But I'm glad that you had Tim Robbins, because I didn't want to not mention him.
Yeah.
What happens after the credits stop? So I have Jimmy starts running cigarettes trade, or the cigarette trade, with the Savage Bros, and then starts a Charlestown gang war with Frank Costigan. I had Sean becomes head of the Stadies before running for a senator. Will the past and present catch up to him? And then I had Davy's son gets a baseball scholarship to Boston University. Good swings. They were good swings. And he becomes a champion shortstop for the uni.
That almost makes it worth it.
What did you have?
I had Jimmy raises the prices in his corner store to now support the extra $500 a month he has to now send to Celeste.
Yeah.
I had Sean, after getting used to hearing his wife's voice all the time now, realizes how annoying she is and how much she nags him. He finally decides to change the locks. And then I had Whitey and Jenny get it on at the Cantop bar, living a happy, sex-filled, guilt-free life, while all these other people are so depressed. So yeah, that's what I have.
Awesome. So, conspiracy theory, give me something wilder than the flat earth propaganda. I will do mine because it's fucking hot. I may or may not believe this before I say it, but it's my theory, conspiracy theory. Pulp Fiction would have been a better movie with Lawrence Fishburne. So I could feel glimpses of it in this movie, just the way that he would kind of do his little speeches or things. And I was like, geez, I think that Jules character, even though as cool as fuck as he is, he could have put more, like, bit more of a motherfucker on it, and just a bit more, I don't know if the word's polished, but just, yeah, I'm going to go with polished. Just, I feel like Jules could have been a little bit more polished. Now, the only scene where I'm not sure how Lawrence Fishburne would have taken it was when he's talking to, is her name Willanda? I was trying to think of her name all day. In the diner scene with Tim Roth. I like it where he's like, bitch, be
Yolanda!
cool, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how Lawrence Fishburne would have done that scene, but I think the overall movie potentially would have been, or in terms of my conspiracy theory, would have been better with Lawrence Fishburne.
Really? Wow. That is a good conspiracy theory. I'll have to mull on that. I might need to watch Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction again to mull on that.
Well, but I also, yeah, look, I don't know if I believe it or not. And I'll just say it's because I've watched it so many times that I'm like, oh, I wonder what it would have been like with this character or this actor.
Yeah.
Do you have a
Yeah.
conspiracy theory?
I actually had my conspiracy theory about long movies, about them being cut down. So we talked about that. So I'll come up with a better one for you next time.
That's all right. I forgive you, mate. Dom Toretto, what's your life lesson from the movie?
My life lesson from the movie is a great thing one of my mentors taught me, was everything you say and do can be used against you. So Celeste running off and saying that Dave killed Katie only means one thing. Now her and her son have to reap the consequences of her actions. So you may have to be very measured in daily life with what you can and can't say, because you never know when someone will use it against you.
We're maybe all going to be on the same page here. So if you're a person who's been sexually abused and you come upon a pedo and you kill them, you should probably tell your wife and friends, especially if you think that you killed the mafia person's child. But I also think that most people in your friendship group would understand and be sympathetic and be like, oh, that's okay. I don't know how many people are going to be like, oh my God, you killed a pedo. How terrible of you.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
And then the only other one is don't leave your mates behind. If your mate's getting chucked into a car, you're all getting chucked
You
into the
jump
car.
in. You jump in.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 for 1.
Airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people, so I've got a couple of airing of grievances, but you can go first.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to hash it up again, but we talked about the movie could have been a little bit too long. But what I would have loved to have seen, because they did other flashbacks, but I would have loved to have seen a quick flashback of the actual murder. So as the boy's accidentally shooting her after she said hi, like, and then a quick run of her through the forest, exactly how sort of Dave ran through the forest at the start of the movie. I think that could have contextualized well, if they've both got those sort of running through the forest scenes, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, it's only a minor little grievance, but yeah, I would have liked to have seen
Yeah,
that flashback.
no, that's a good point, because I didn't quite understand. Did she say hi and then they shot at her first, or had they shot at her and then she said hi?
I think what the witness was saying when when Sean and Whitey were interviewing her was that she heard someone say hi, and then she heard something that sounded like a gunshot went off after that. So I reckon this is my flashback in my head, but I reckon Silent Ray and John O'Hara, I think his name is, they saw her and she said hi, and then they accidentally shot her. So, but again, I would have
Okay.
loved to have seen that flashback, like how you saw the flashback of, Davey killing the pedophile. I think a flashback of the actual murder later on, after everyone knew about it, would have
Yeah.
worked really well.
Yeah, look, give me that flashback instead of a fucking Kevin Bacon just talking to no one on the end of a phone. So I had what's his name? What's the Harris kid's name? Just Harris.
Silent Ray?
No, the other one.
Brendan. Brendan.
Brendan. What's his
Yeah.
name? Just Harris.
Oh, the dad is just Ray Harris.
Ah, okay. So sorry. So Brendan. So I had Brendan telling the cops he was leaving home in front of his deadbeat mum. There's no way, even you and I, if we're going to leave home and we're moving to Vegas with our girlfriend, but now that's all fallen through because my girlfriend's dead, in front of my mother, there's no way that I'm saying, I'm leaving this shithole. You guys can all go fuck yourselves. Like, it's
Yeah.
going to be a couple of awkward conversations like, where are you sleeping that night, pal?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think any parent wants to hear that.
And then I mentioned it earlier, like Sean's wife, so Lauren, she's fucked up, man. Like, she needs some serious help. Like, their relationship, like, how does it come back and they're all just lovey-dovey at the parade? I'd be like, where have you been? Like, where's my child? Like, I think you might need to go to some counseling. Like, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Like, how many days had she disappeared for? I don't know. I just wasn't really sure about that.
Yeah.
And then
Like we both mentioned, I think that we could have done without that.
yeah. And then my only other one, which we sort of mentioned at the start was, which I won't rehash it, was why would Celeste go to the criminal or born again criminal gangster to say like, oh, I think he killed your daughter instead of like going to the police?
Yeah.
What did she expect was going to happen? And then at the end, like she seemed surprised by what has happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Letterbox rating. So I gave it 4 stars with don't keep secrets from your mates. What about you?
Nice. I gave it 4.5 stars. So I had Mystic River, majestically delivered. So yeah, really, really good movie.
Rewatchable factor. So I loved watching it a second time, and I will definitely be revisiting this movie again and again. I didn't think that there needed to be a sequel, but I did think I would enjoy a prequel with Jimmy and the Savage Brothers before they went to jail and just Ray Harris. That could be quite good.
Yeah, nice. That's good.
What about you?
Yeah, like Yeah, like you, I definitely really enjoyed watching this again. I don't think it's one I'll rush out and watch again next month or anything like that. Like I'll probably wait a few years, but I'll definitely revisit it again. But I think there was potentially an option to do a sequel where, Sean takes down Jimmy, but I mean, it's too late for that now. But like you, maybe they could have done a backstory on the three kids, like, Sean, Jimmy, and Dave. But it's probably best to leave this movie as a standalone movie, I think.
Yeah, nice. Final thoughts? Anything you want to share? Otherwise, what movie you pairing this with?
Yeah, for me, it's an amazing movie that just hits so many points on what a great movie to me should be. So I mentioned before, I prefer a sad ending over a Disney happy ending. I love a mystery. I love a police investigation, and that double investigation angle just works so well for me. I thought the cast was elite. The director, Mr. Clint Eastwood, the ageless wonder. And it's just such an amazing story, I thought. So, man, like it's unforgettable, I think, the story. If you're going to pair it, Sleepers, I think maybe would be one where the boys, get abused and grow into damaged, haunted men, who have that sort of trauma. Look at me, Boston accent going again. Have that trauma with them as well. But if you want more movies with that dual investigation or the parallel, sort of truth hunting. I've got a Korean epic movie for you, which is Memories of Murder, which is you got two detectives with widely different styles investigating the same case. So one guy's like really procedural, like by the book, and the other guy's like very like instinctual. So yeah, that's an amazing movie to watch as well.
Great. Thank you for sharing. I had Gone Baby Gone or Shutter Island, as they're both written by Dennis Leon. I haven't seen Gone Baby Gone, so I guess that would be my first thought. Otherwise, I had The Game, just to get some more Sean Penn into me.
Oh, nice. I love the game. Yeah, you mentioned it before. I love Sean Penn in that. Yeah.
So no mailbox. Guys, we're getting pretty lonely. If anybody
Oh
wants
no,
to send us an email,
I did get an inbox just then. It was from Instagram to let us know that Bespoke Fitness Australia and Ben Stocko recently added to their stories. But we would like to see a different, maybe more personalized email, especially now that we've said The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King shouldn't have won the Oscar.
yeah, come at me, Frodo. So if you've got any thoughts, in the mood for a movie at gmail.com. Alrighty, boys and girls, that's going to do us for another episode of In the Mood for a Movie. Thanks for hanging with us. Hope you enjoyed all our takes. As I said, if you've got any thoughts, you want to tell us what we're doing wrong, in the mood for a movie at gmail.com. Otherwise, follow us on Instagram, like and subscribe where you get your Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I'm Jeremy. This is Brad. We'll catch you next time. We're doing Gone in 60 Seconds, another movie which I haven't seen, and we may have a special guest.
Oh, we may indeed. And that's a great movie. That will be a good one for you to watch. I won't spoil it for you though, Jezza. You can make your own opinion. But
Well,
yeah,
heist movies are my favorite genre, so I can't wait. But thank you all. See you next time.
take care.